It's a transformative technology that enables computers to learn and make predictions without explicitly being programmed. And for those of us wanting to venture into the world of Python and data science, understanding this fundamental concept is essential. What's the concept? Machine learning. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of PyPod Chronicles.
Welcome to PyPod Chronicles, a series that brings our tech blog to life in a whole new way. Covering an array of topics surrounding Python and tech, from programming tips, best practices, and so much more. Let's get immersed in Python with the Nerd Nook on the go.
Before I dive into today's episode, guys, you can get my handcrafted Python and Git PDF starter guide. It's absolutely free. It's the link in the description. And the link in the description is also the blog that has all the advanced resources I have available for you guys. Head on down there and get your copy of my handcrafted Python guide today. In today's comprehensive episode, I'm starting a mini-series, and this is a mini-series into machine learning, as this has been a topic that I have been working with in the past few months, and it's been rather intriguing, guys, we're in 2024. To think 20 years ago what we'd be doing today with computers, it's mind-boggling. Today I'm going to introduce you to machine learning, and over the next few episodes jump into the Sci-kit Learn Python library, a powerful tool for machine learning in Python. I'm stoked that I get to touch on this topic as we've been building up to this the last couple of months with my data analytics series. If you've missed those, guys, head back to the previous episodes, as I've taken you from knowing nothing of data analytics all the way up to where we are now in machine learning. The first question that, we really need to ask is, what is machine learning, or ML? And at its core, ML is a branch or a subdivision of AI, and it focuses on building algorithms that allow computers to learn from pre-existing data. So instead of writing explicit rules, machine learning algorithms use statistical techniques to identify patterns and make decisions or predictions. There are three primary types of machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Let's start with supervised. This algorithm learns from labeled data and makes predictions based on input-output pairs. The primary goal of supervised learning is to learn a mapping from inputs to outputs. And this approach involves regression, where continuous output variables are predicted, and classification, which involves categorizing data into predefined classes or labels. Unsupervised learning. Now, this explores data without labels. It identifies patterns or groupings, and unlike supervised, there are no predefined output labels. This allows the algorithm to explore the data on its own, get curious, do its own thing out there, And our final one is reinforcement learning. Now, reinforcement learning learns by interacting with an environment and receiving rewards or penalties based on its actions. So it's like good dog, bad dog, right? It learns from a trial and error basis. And over time, through exploration and different strategies, the model refines its decision-making process. So there you have the first three different types of machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement, all key. Now you might be wondering, okay, Josh, that's cool, but this is Python, right? So I heard Sci-kit Learn. What's this Sci-kit Learn everyone's talking about? Well, Sci-kit Learn is a powerful Python library specifically designed for ML tasks. So think of it like your toolbox filled with new algorithms and tools to build intelligent models or applications. There are other ML libraries, but this one is easily one of the most popular and widely used in the data science field. Now, I call it Sci-kit Learn. When we import it into our code, it's also known as sklearn. And there are a few things that set this apart. Now, it's easy to use interface. sklearn, Sci-kit Learn, offers a lot of APIs, making it user-friendly and straightforward for ML tasks. Once you get the flow and procedure down using this library to make predictions, it just becomes second nature. Another key thing is its versatility, from classification to regression, all the way to clustering and dimensionality reduction. Sci-kit Learn supports a wide range of ML algorithms. Some of them I haven't used yet, but I'm excited to try them out. And finally, the integration. Now, Sci-kit Learn, it just integrates really well with where we're currently at on our journey, working with Pandas, Matplotlib, and NumPy, right? So if you follow the series, this just goes perfectly with these other Python libraries that we work with. Now, let's talk about the foundations. Now, today I'm not diving into the code aspect, all right? Machine learning is such a big topic that if you don't have it broken down, you're going to get lost really quickly. So we will be using Sci-kit Learn, and I will be introducing code in the coming episodes. But we first need to address what are the foundations of machine learning. Well, the first step that lays the groundwork is called data preprocessing. Now, it involves transforming raw data into a clean, structured format that our model can read and we can train the model with. So think of this as the data cleaning stage that we did in Pandas, but this time it's to prepare our data for the ML algorithm. And by addressing any inconsistencies or outliers or missing values that we might have in our data, it ensures the reliability of our ML model. This is the stage, right, where we handle missing data. Now, we did this with Pandas. If you missed that episode, head back a few, okay? But we also want to do this in our ML stage. It's like we're cleaning it twice. We're giving the model the best possible data to make the best possible predictions. If you haven't handled missing data yet, you can fill them in, right? Use the isNil, fillNut, dropNut. We talked about those with Pandas. It should have been done already. Now it's time to make those guided predictions. Once we've gone through the pre-processing stage, we can make predictions or prepare to do so. But there's different algorithms we could use for different answers or questions we may have. Let's talk about supervised learning, right? This is an algorithm that learns from labeled data, and we can touch off here with regression. Now, specifically linear regression. This model predicts continuous outcomes based on independent variables. Okay, so long story short, linear regression. You want to predict future prices to the stock market or crypto, okay? That's linear regression. We then have logistic regression. Now, this addresses binary classification tasks, predicting outcomes within two classes. So think of this as like a go-to for anything that requires a yes or no answers, as there's only two outcomes. The last part of supervised learning we could have is decision trees or random forests. Now, these partition data based on feature thresholds, and they create this hierarchical structure for decision making. So anytime you need to make a decision for scoring credit or a loan approval or even predicting a customer's behavior, a decision tree could work well for this. If we dive in to talk about unsupervised data patterns, right? So I just came from supervised. I mentioned 3. If I talk about unsupervised, let's just talk about 1 or 2, right? K-means clustering. So unsupervised learning comes into play when you want to group or discover patterns. And K-clustering, now this uses the grouping that's similar in data points. So like if you put 10 dots on a piece of paper and you just pick a random dot, right? The 5 closest dots to that dot you would collect information from. You cluster them together, and that gives your dot information. Okay, so you're collecting data from the 8 closest people around you to make a prediction. That's clustering. Another thing we could do here is called principal component analysis, PCA. And this reduces dataset dimensionality while preserving the key, the essential information. This is essentially another data pre-processing step that improves our model's overall performance. So it's interesting, and it's a common practice in machine learning that you'll see pre-processing sometimes at 2 stages. We see it before we train and test and split the model to create for the model, and then we also may see it after we train and test our model as well, or that splitting procedure, I should say. Okay, I've only talked about supervised and unsupervised in depth, as those are the ones that we're really going to explore here in my series. But let's wrap up today's episode. All right, so if you're eager to get into machine learning, or maybe you need it broken down to an easier level of understanding, well, I got you covered, because in the next few episodes, that's what I'm going to break down. If you want to read this stuff, a transcript, head to the link in the description. Okay, that's where you can get my handcrafted Python guide as well as a transcription to all of my episodes. That's over on my blog. Okay, head over and check that out. By grasping the significance of data preprocessing, supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms, you can use the full potential and explore machine learning. As you dive deeper, remember guys, to experiment, iterate, refine your approach, and pave the way for a data-driven insights into new experimentations. You could be an absolute beginner in ML or machine learning, but that's fine. Mastering the fundamentals of anything is going to allow you to leverage the tools to your advantage. Okay, so when I started a year ago creating content, I started day one. What do you need to know to get into Python? Okay, learn the fundamentals. You can build on that, right? And throughout the last year, that's exactly what I've done. I've built on all the articles to help you guys grow and learn more. Okay, so head over and check those out. Well, guys, that's all for today's episode of PyPod Chronicles as we enter the topic of machine learning. If you guys like this episode, do me a favor. Come on, click the heart button, restack, repost this, whatever platform you're on, as that helps me reach more people.